What's up everybody, my name is Tonny and I'm here with another Warframe guide video. In this video, we will be looking at how to get steel essence from the steel path effectively or efficiently. Now, you guys already know the survival method, which is basically stay in the mission for 1 to 2 hours and just kill shit. While disruption is a little bit different, and I'm going to explain all of the steps and how to do it. But first, let's take a look at the results that I have here for you guys when it comes to disruption with other players. Now, with only 4 people, I only get around that much, which is pretty decent. Then with only 2 people, I only got that much. But he wants to leave early though, so that's why I only got that much. So at 45 minutes, it's pretty decent. While in 1 hour, you get that much. But it's all about luck, and since it's a 2% drop rate, it's not that bad. And as a solo, this is how much you get. I only got ribbon slivers there with some more steel essence there, so that's only solo. Obviously, it's not really recommended to do solo unless you're really lucky. So how does 3 players work? So I have another clip here for you guys when it comes to 3 players. So when it comes to 3 players, it's actually not that bad. You guys can do this with 3 players. Now, when it comes to the steel essence, there are 2% drops, so they don't really get affected by drop chance, but they do get affected by drop booster. Now, before we get further into the disruption of Expat, let's take a look at survival and why a lot of people use this one. So usually you get a lot of Eximus at around 1 hour to 2 hours, and when you do get that, they drop the essence do drop pretty much a lot, but you got to stay in for at least 1 to 2 hours though. 30 minutes you get a decent or below average drop rate. So in my experience when it comes to survival, I did like 3 survivals and was not really happy with the results at all. It depends way too much on luck. So 30-minute prep on the Eximus when it comes to survival, and then you got the 1 to 2 hour for around 20 to 40 drops based on my experience on that. It's really not that great, and I don't really like it. Not to mention that you got to stay in super long just to get a really good amount of drops. So for me as a player, I don't really do that. I don't like to play like that as well. I'm not really much of an endurance player as well, because I'm afraid that if I do crash or I do get disconnected from the internet or anything like that, which I do happen because I'm on a wireless, you basically lose all the loot you guys get from that mission, and there's no way to get it back. So when it comes to disruption, however, it's a little bit different, because you get an Eximus right at the start, as well as Eximus waves from the conduits that allows increased chance of more Eximus to spawn. And when it comes to that, you get a higher chance of getting a steel essence. And finally, unlike survival where you have to reach 1 hour to 2 hours to get higher levels, and that in turn gives you more Eximus, in disruption you guys can just straight up just rush through the rounds to increase the levels of the enemies. So let's say around round 6, you guys will basically get around a 30-minute survival rotation if you guys compare it to those two. So let's say you got to round 12. That's basically an hour worth of survival you just did. You could nail that round 12 within, like, let's say a 30-minute time period. So that's what's so great about disruption. So I'm gonna show you guys how, or tell you guys how to do all of the disruption. So first off, you guys got to be able to understand how disruption works. So first off would be that when it comes to disruption, all you guys need to do is just nail at least 1 conduit to move on to the next round. Every other conduits can fail. And when it comes to the blood surge conduit, you may want to make sure that you guys kill the key holder for that, or the guy that's coming after the conduit, because when it comes to the pods or the infested pods, whatever you guys want to call it, they actually count as an enemy, and they will take up a space for the Eximus enemies as well as the regular enemies. So you want to get rid of the dude, or whatever you guys want to call it, that actually is going after the conduit, and get rid of them by killing them, of course. So you don't want to fail that. And when it comes to failing conduits, you guys want to make sure that the Eximus wave fails, so that way you guys can get the Eximus waves continuously for 15 minutes if you guys don't put in the rest of the keys, of course. You guys get the Eximus waves, just kill stuff for 15 minutes tops until you guys get a timeout timer on the screen on the top. You guys may have already seen that in my previous clips or video here, or in the beginning of the video, probably around there. You guys will see that. You guys get at least 3 minutes. And when it comes to 3 minutes off, I think you fail it. I'm not quite sure what happens if you do that. I didn't want to risk doing that, so I just straight up went on to moving into the next conduit. So if you guys are in, let's say, the Eximus wave on the very first conduit, you got 3 keys left to put in, you guys can straight up just kill until 15 minutes up, and then when the timer starts to come down, you guys can wait for the last 30 seconds or so and put in another key in. What happens is it resets the timer to 3 minutes once that second conduit is done. and you'll get a timer again, of course, on the second conduit or the third conduit when you guys, whenever it pops up, I guess. And then it will get a 3-minute counter or 2-minute counter, and then you gotta do it again on the third conduit. Put in a key in, it's gonna reset the timer. And then again, fourth conduit, put in a key in when it gets that timer, and then straight up, you guys can expand it to whatever, how long you guys want, or you just can put in the key immediately. Now, if you guys do finish all 4 conduits with that timeout, you can move on to the next round. Usually when people see the timeout, they think, oh shit, I gotta fucking move, I gotta extract. No, you guys don't have to do that. You guys can straight up just wait for the last 30 seconds or just put in the key immediately to reset the counter type or the countdown. So in turn, this would actually increase the Eximus wave count. And obviously, if you guys go to higher rounds with the Eximus wave, so let's say you guys go to round 10, which is basically the sweet spot for the Eximus, because in equivalent to survival time, that's basically 50 minutes you guys just stayed in. So around 60 to 50 minutes in survival, you guys do get pretty good, reasonable amount of Eximus spawning with reasonable amounts of steel essence, depending on your luck, of course. And at just round 10, that's basically too little, you know. That's already at the beginning, if you guys rush through that, of course. If you guys get lucky between round 1 to 10, you guys do get some Eximus waves here and there, but you guys will probably get a little bit drops, but it's still reasonable drops, because at least one Eximus wave, you should get at least 1 steel essence, a guarantee at least, unless you're really an unlucky person. So if you guys are around at least round 15 plus, that's straight up close to almost to a 2-hour run right there. And then you guys straight up just getting more Eximus there and there. Now there is a cap on how many Eximus will spawn, of course. So around, I'd say 10 is good enough, and then keep going to around 15 or so to reach the max cap of Eximus, and you should be able to kill almost every enemy as Eximus. And if you guys compare the amount of enemies between Disruption and Survival, Survival do have a lot more enemies, but keep in mind that there are still a lot more regular enemies too, you guys. So if you guys notice that if you guys reach around 2 hours of Survival, you guys will notice a lot more Eximus than, let's say, in 1 hour Survival. However, when it comes to Disruption, of course, there is a cap on the Eximus, but you do notice a lot more Eximus than regular enemies at around round, let's say, 15 or 12. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's around there. Now, what type of Disruption should you guys go for? So, the Disruption I went for these missions that you guys see here are Uranus Ur, I guess, the UR, in other words. So Uranus Ur is where I went for the Disruption, because everybody, or basically you're just fighting against infested, and that's what we want to do. However, when it comes to the Eximus right off the start, keep in mind that the Eximus right off the start are basically the key holders of the Disruption. So sometimes normal enemies do drop the keys, but mostly and mainly the Eximus will drop the keys. That's the reason why you want to go to Disruption Ur, it's because of the Eximus key holders. If you guys go to, let's say, Jupiter's, the key holders are most likely the Amalgam, and then probably Grenier will pretty much not be Eximus. Maybe they are, but I'm not sure. And in fact, that Greniers do shoot pretty hard, and same with Corpus as well. They do hit hard in higher levels. Same thing with Greniers, or Orokin as well. I don't think it's Orokin Disruption, but Greniers and Corpus, they shoot at you the moment they see you, while Infested just charge at you and they try to melee you and crap. So that's why Infested is a must-have or must-go-to for the Disruption game types. You guys, again, can go to Corpus or Greniers if you guys want, but I don't really recommend it, since you do get less Eximus units than Disruption Uranus Ur. So when it comes to the Warframes or weapons, you know what, just bring whatever you guys want. For me, I bring the Inaros because it's tanky. You guys can bring Rhino if you guys want, but keep in mind that when you guys fight against the key holders, you do need to recast your Iron Skin a lot. So because of the nullifiers, bubbles, they keep bursting out. Unless you insta-kill them, then that's a different story. But I'm pretty damn sure you guys won't be able to 1 or 2 shot them, and there's a chance they will release that nullifier. So again, just bring a Warframe that's tanky enough to kill. I mean, tanky enough to not take damage, and tanky enough to kill as well, I guess. And when it comes to the weapon, bring a melee weapon for sure, you guys. Any weapon that can kill Infested is what you guys want to go to. Infested do have a weakness to gas and slash, so make sure you guys bring those. When it comes to your companion, be sure to bring your Smita Vet for the extra double booster. And when it comes to farming steel essence, be sure to bring a double booster. Otherwise, you just waste more time trying to get the steel essence. Just get a double booster. And with Smita Vet, it does work as well. So you do get at least 4 when it comes to getting a steel essence if your charm does proc. If your Smita Vet procs again with the charm, you get an 8 steel essence drop. So that's pretty big if you guys are super lucky. Now, the downside to Disruption, however, would be that not many people do this for the farm. You might need to get a recruit call out for people if you want to be doing disruption farm. Usually 2 to 3 players is fine. 2 players, you do get a pretty good decent amount, you guys can see on the screenshot in the beginning of the video. 3 players is pretty great. 4 players is pretty good if you're lucky. Try to get 4 players in, because not many people would like to do this, and mostly would do survival because it's a lot more chill and easier, of course. Now, if you guys dislike disruption, even though I'm showing you guys all the benefits of it, you guys can still go back to survival if you guys prefer that. Just when it comes to the frames for survival, I recommend getting a Cora because of the amount of enemy that's coming at you. If you guys have Cora, then I think disruption would be a good alternative for you guys. And here is the amount of steel S's I have at the end of this mission, as a 3-player mission, of course. Not bad for a 1 hour 30-minute mission here. And that concludes this video. Hopefully you guys like this video. Give it a like if you guys do. Subscribe to support my channel. Thank you guys for watching. Until we meet again, you guys, peace out.